At night, and when I say my prayers every single day, and I pray for my family and my friends, and I seek the God's face, what I ask for at the end is two things. I ask the Lord to give me wisdom in the decisions that I make, both in Tallahassee and in my home. And I also ask that He gives me character. Give me your character. Let me walk in a holy way. And that's what makes a person. What does a person do when no one is looking? That's the character of a man or a woman. And I can tell you, when I go to bed at night and when as an individual, do not come from government. Your rights come from God. Amen. And that's what this country was founded upon. And we learned that. And we understood it. We also understood things like, you don't put a mosque on a former 9/11 site. You will find no bigger proponent of the freedom of religion. But my goodness, couldn't people show a little bit more respect for those who have died and those who have fallen, helping those on that 9/11 site? It's just a travesty, and I'm ashamed that our president, frankly, took that stand that he did. In 2006, I got elected to the legislature. At the time, I'd been married for a total of 4.5 months. I told my wife that maybe one day I would run for office, but I didn't anticipate it being in 2006. Interesting story how it happened. I got a call one night. It was about 9:30 in the evening, and a person by the name of Rubio called me. And Marco was the incoming Speaker of the Florida House. And what Marco said was, he said, "Will, tomorrow, Ken Littlefield, who spoke here last month, is getting appointed by Jeb Bush to the Public Service Commission. And the primary had just happened a week prior. We want you, the Republican Party has to name someone to run in his stead, and we want you to do it. Will you do it?" And I said, "Well, gosh, Speaker, that's quite an honor that you would ask me to do that. How much time do I have to think about it?" And he said, 24 hours. So I went to my wife and we thought about it, we prayed about it. It was not my decision.
Mr. Weatherford, how are you? Fantastic.
I'll talk to you in 1 second. How are you?
Kathy.
I'm Kathy. How are you? Weatherford? Nice to see you.
A lot of interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, there is. Oh, the stakes are high. We got a lot of exciting shit.
Yeah.
Here goes. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tim.
Okay, Will.
Hey, buddy, how you
doing? Real good.
So you're wanting to come and interview me on a camera?
You betcha. You betcha, because I think there's some questions. I've been reviewing, a lot of your material, and quite frankly, I think there's a few questions that could use some answering.
Okay.
Okay. Number one, after you got out of college, you worked several odd jobs, making in the neighborhood, including, I believe, the speaker job.
I think I know what you're trying to do.
Well,
I'm not really interested in having a conversation so you can score political points. If you want to come to my office and have a rational conversation,
we're going to have a conversation here right now, and all I'm asking, very calmly, as a constituent who is not the only person that has questions, a review of your financial filings at the Department of State. So after you've been in office for 5 months, after making about $40,000 a year up to that point, you end up with $106,000 in the bank account and a lot worth $160,000 that shows no mortgage or anything behind it. Can you explain that?
Well, I think it's clear what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to get the truth,
and
that's all.
I would be more than willing to have a meeting with you, but clearly what you're trying to do is
get the truth. No, well, this is political. It's inherently political.
I'm not going to engage in that kind of conversation.
But you're not engaging in
I'm not going to engage in a conversation.
It's about the truth. And you're running away, absolutely, because you can't answer those questions, Will. You're running away, you can't answer.
I need to ask him a question.
Yeah, ask him a question. Ask him a question, we'll be back to you. Okay, we just saw him run away from answering the questions about his financial issues.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, not
real good.
bad.
Real good. Yeah, he's running for cover.
You know what suits you born when you know it?
He's a tall guy.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy.
Causing some problems. Yeah. Not as something.
My concern is corruption. That's
well, this is corrupted too.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. And so we're not done with these questions here. It's now about 10 to 7. Just keep at it. Just keep it rolling. Okay? That's only question number one.
Catherine.
See how I tried to stand above me to try
It's
to...
completely insulated.
Yeah, I know.
We just put it right here?
Well, we're gonna ask some more questions.
You gonna be asking any questions, sir?
Is it weird?
I'm gonna be, if you put me up.
Well, no. You need to write down the questions. I get it from you, and I give it to the moderators.
Okay.
And then
I'm sure but the moderators won't ask. They won't ask the questions. So that's why I'm asking right here. Okay. Already question number one. Won't answer it.
Okay, because like I said, the whole idea is for us to collect the questions and give it to the madam in Tampa.
In Tampa? We're in Tampa.
Because nobody knows what your businesses are, and that's kind of curious.
We'll have a rational conversation. I'm not doing it while you try to.
You're an environmental.
Being a dick.
No, leave her alone.
Hey, don't insult me.
Environmental consultant, yeah, assaulting me.
He's assaulting me.
No, stay clear.
He's assaulting me.
You're an environmental consultant, you say. Will. Environmental consultant. What are your professional credentials? No, I'm asking a simple question. My wife is an environmental consultant. So yes, and so you say you are. What are your professional credentials? Tell us your professional credentials. Well, you certainly do as a constituent. As a constituent, the public deserves to know if you're fraud. If you're a fraud, and how did you raise $615,000 mostly come out of state? How did you do that?
Look, if you want to come
making
talk to
cold
me,
calls?
you can
No,
do that.
I'm right here. We're asking you right here. Right here, and if you had the answers, you would.
We have to continue to elect people with character. And I'm not going to sit up here and sound self-righteous and tell you that I've got better character than Kevin or anybody else. What I will tell you is this. Bobby Bowden said once that there's a difference between character and reputation. Reputation is what people think about you or what they know about you. Character is what God knows about you. That's what makes a person. What does a person do when no one is looking? That's the character of a man or a woman. And I can tell you, when I get to go to bed at night and when I say my prayers every single day, and I pray for my family and my friends, and I seek the God's face, what I ask for at the end is two things. I ask the Lord to give me wisdom in the decisions that I make, both in Tallahassee and in my home. And I also ask that He gives me character. Give me your character. Let me walk in a holy way.